active and very civilised way. Thank you very much. So, Joel, we'll start with you. You have 5 different questions. What's your wrap-up?
The one I would actually want to bring up is the one from the philosopher about biofortified.org, because I think that's just such a great example of the kind of site that everybody should check out. I mean, the one thing that I want to leave everyone with is that there's so much information out there. Please look into both sides. Please look into the independent science. A site like biofortified.org that's from independent scientists and researchers. What they've done is, from their own motivation, they've created a database with hundreds and hundreds of studies on biotech. They show which ones are independent so anybody can go and see it more easily for themselves. They try to put things in consumer-friendly terms. I actually had the pleasure of seeing Gary Vrain's talk in Vancouver earlier in the week, and I know he finished his talk by saying, what I want everyone to do is get angry, to write letters, to raise a big fuss, and what I want to tell you as my final point is to go learn more and go look at the independent science. Look at the most respected science organizations in the entire world and see their points. And look at the points from the independent scientists and make up your own minds. We're 4 people. There's plenty more online and everywhere else. And it's about deciding what the reputable information is and what the non-reputable information is.
Thank you, Joel. Robert?
I think I'll just tackle the issue that was asked about trace amounts of GM crops showing up in a non-GM field. That was one of the complaints brought forward by the Organic Seed Growers and Trade Association against Monsanto. 30,000 plaintiffs. Not one of them could bring forward evidence that this has in fact happened. The only people Monsanto has sued are people who have stolen their technology, who have grown GM crops on a large scale without paying Monsanto the technology use agreements. That's what the court records say. You can claim all kinds of other things, but when the Organic Seed Growers and Trade Association went to court, they had to bring the evidence. 30,000 plaintiffs brought none. There's a great many myths out there about GM crops and food. It is very difficult for the average person to differentiate the real science from the pseudoscience. Unless you're trained in the field, it's almost impossible. I would echo Joel's comments. Go to world-respected bodies in science, food safety, and health. See what their opinions are. They don't make those opinions lightly. They look at the science, and they are not fooled by the pseudoscience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thierry?
I plead guilty. I have become a pseudo-scientist. I will tackle your question. The gentleman over there was last night at my talk, and he asked the same question about all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of independent scientific studies that show that there is no harm. And I was reminded of a paper that and he mentioned that paper too. There was a compilation of independent studies done, published recently, 1,700, and I forget the number, but you get my drift. And so I was interested, I started reading it. And it was about the second or third paragraph, and he says, there is no study that show any harm. And I stopped reading. Because I have so many, I mean, I don't know about hundreds and hundreds. I could say hundreds and hundreds because there are hundreds and hundreds of studies that show definitely organ damage and all kinds of trouble with the lab animals, and it's like, it's amazing what the corporate science community and the biotech bubble will just invent. It's gross. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'll try to answer a few of the questions quickly. Yes, Canada should be protecting its biological heritage. Absolutely. Josie Smeltzer did not steal GM canola.
That's right.
Did you test the 17 seeds for viability? Did you test the 17 seeds for viability?
That's probably in the assessments. I don't know the answer off the top of my
And
head,
sir,
but anybody
I was
can look
not
up
being
on their own.
disingenuous. Not at all.
Wild apples. Why have we never seen a wild apple escape? How come I grow
over 100,000 apple trees. I've never had to see them come on my orchard. Like, you say we grow a lot of seedling rootstocks. We grow that only for bud. We've never used seedling rootstock in any commercial orchard I've ever been to. I've been to hundreds.
The majority of commercial cultivars are seedlings.
What?
The majority of commercial cultivars are seedlings.
Horseshit. I expect they have
wait.
and the majority of the cultivars are crap.
Let's keep the language to a civilized.
He's just ignorant.
We said from the very beginning we're not going down that road, so we're not going down that road. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to turn the forum over to Joanne before you leave to say good night and thank you. And thank you for your time and patience.
Thank you again for coming. We really appreciate you all being here. And I think what this highlights for me, I certainly learned a lot. I'm not a scientist and I find it difficult to comprehend some of the scientific information that's presented. But I did learn a lot of things, and what it really sort of confirmed for me is how complex these issues are, and it's just so difficult to make decisions when you don't have all the information, and God only knows when we will have all the information. But what we do have to do is continue having the conversations, and so I appreciate if you'd like to come to